Hello everyone, I am the Theatric Dyspraxic! Let me try that again. Hi everyone, I am the Theatric Dyspraxic! Hello everyone, I am the Theatric Dyspraxic! Hello everyone, I am the Theatric Dyspraxic! Hello everyone, I'm the Theatric Dyspraxic! Hi, I'm the Theatric Dyspraxic. Theatric Dyspraxic! Theatric Dyspraxic! Theatric Dyspraxic. Theatric Dyspraxic. Theatric Dyspraxic. Theatric Dyspraxic. Trix Yogurt. Alright, enough of that nonsense. Hi everyone. As I said before, I am the Theatric Dyspraxic. I'm not very good at introductions, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get right into it. I actually tried making this video twice, but with both attempts I sort of blanked, which leads to a lot of dead air. To avoid this, I realized that the best option for me is to script my videos beforehand so I can organize my thoughts and ensure that I was well equipped to prepare myself for this. I was never really very good at improv. Most of my future videos will probably be pre-written in this way, but rest assured it's still my words and my thoughts. So it's all still gonna groove, dude! This video is going to be the first in, I hope, a series of videos from me, the Theatric Dyspraxic. Why do I call myself the Theatric Dyspraxic, you ask? 2 reasons. 1, I'm very theatrical. 2, I do a lot of theater. Well, I've done a lot of theater. And 3, I have a neurological condition called dyspraxia. What is dyspraxia, you ask? Surely you mean dyslexia. If you're a stupid American, you've probably never heard of dyspraxia. But if you're in merry windy England, you've probably heard the term strung about a wee bit. Actually, Harry Potter has it. Actually, dyspraxia sounds like a Harry Potter spell. Dyspraxia! What a useless spell. If you are unfamiliar with dyspraxia, I will be covering different aspects of it in future videos. But right now, I'll give you a brief rundown on what it is. Dyspraxia is a neurological condition characterized by problems with posture, balance, coordination, speech, and thought processing, as well as other things. If you want to break it down in simple terms without hearing all the confusing clinical jargon, imagine a cell phone in an area with poor reception. There is still a signal and you can still call people, but messages are delayed and the connection is not going through all the way. The main components are there, but it doesn't come out right, leaving the conversation broken and confusing. That's kind of my example of how dyspraxia affects people, but obviously on a broader scale. A person with dyspraxia isn't disabled and they're capable of doing a lot of things, but a lot of the things that they try to do, they don't really do quite well and they struggle with those things. Especially when you compare it to most things that neurotypical people do. Neurotypical means average, boring nobodies like you! And certain tasks that neurotypicals take for granted, like riding a bike or tying shoes or even writing. It can lead to problems processing information, so following directions and instructions can be quite difficult, and processing vocabulary can make it difficult to communicate with others. Now, along with dyspraxia, I also suffer from ADHD. So I have problems with overactivity in the brain and the body. And so because of my ADHD, I'm often very restless. And I'm often very distracted because so many thoughts are going around in my head that trying to capture the right words is like trying to find B6 in a rattling bingo cage. I will be going into specifics later on, but that is essentially what dyspraxia is in simple terms. A lot of people are affected by it. But unfortunately, very little is known about the condition, making it very difficult in the United States to seek treatment for it. When it affects you quite significantly like it does me, it can be quite debilitating, and dyspraxia can affect just about every aspect of someone's life. Because of the lack of awareness, it can be very difficult for anyone to understand what you deal with on a daily basis. In a workplace environment, it can be hard because there's always tasks that you have trouble with. And after a while, you know that everyone is just better off passing the task on to somebody else who can do it better than you can. Wow, right when I'm shooting my first video, I hear people doing yard work outside. If that's not an omen, I don't know what is. One of the most difficult part of dyspraxia is sometimes you don't know if you'll screw something up. And whenever you do, or you make a mistake because you were distracted by something or something went on with your coordination, then it's very easy for people to just assume that you're stupid. There's so many things about the disorder that put you in situations that just end up making you look like a fool. And it's sad because you're not. You're not an idiot. You just struggle with these things, and sometimes you overlook things. Sometimes your brain just doesn't process something right away. It's not something that you can help. and all you can do is try your hardest. But for a dyspraxic, even your greatest effort might not even be as good as a neurotypical and a lackadaisical temperament. Now, of course, in future videos I will be talking about dyspraxia and its effect on my life, but this channel is not only going to be about that. The truth is, I don't have many goals with this channel except to talk about stuff. Stuff that interests me, personal experiences, my opinions on things, funny anecdotes. I may even try to post a monologue or two. I'll do reactions if I find something to react to. Screw it! I might even sing karaoke! The point is, this channel will have some content. Some of it very serious. Some of it not so serious. Unfortunately, I have to film this with my crappy little laptop for now, but hopefully in the future I'll have some better equipment for shooting these videos. If you're really not into this sort of thing, then that's okay. You don't really have to watch, and I don't expect to draw in some kind of fan base for this. It would be great if I did, but that's really not part of my expectations. These videos are really just going to be an outlet for me to talk about myself and talk about my life. If something good comes out of it, even something small like maybe somebody gets a kick out of it, then I'll consider that a good thing. And if just one person can watch my videos and say, wow, that really explains how I feel, or I really identify with that, then I know I'll be doing a good job. Just to make one person feel less alone. And I can consider it a success. I do hope that you subscribe and look forward to any future content that I'll be posting. On a serious note, because we've been pretty goofy so far, I am going to be honest and tell you that a lot of things I talk about will be very personal. And as such, I've decided not to use my real name, at least for now. Some people watching may know my real name. They may even have subscribed to my YouTube channel that's under my real name. Yeah, I have another YouTube channel, and it's got a lot of very random content. But if you know my name, I ask that you refrain from commenting it because I want to do the best that I can to remain anonymous. Just in case I reveal too much and I don't have people harassing my personal accounts or sending messages out to my family or friends. I just kind of want to keep things a little bit private for now. I'm not sure if that's always how I'm going to want to do it or if I'm going to want to talk about my more personal stuff in the future. But for now, I'm just going to go by the Theatric Dyspraxic. It's just a lovely name, isn't it? I'm generally an open book, and I can be very blunt about things. My honesty often gets me in trouble, but honestly, I believe that it's one of the best qualities a person can have. I would rather not jerk people around, because I don't like when people do that with me. So for me, I think it's important to just stay true to who you are and to be truthful at all opportunities. And being open rather than being closed off is usually where you find the truth in others. I've lost a lot of good friends because of my being honest and direct with them. But that's okay. It comes with the territory. One of the reasons I'm doing this too is because, speaking truthfully, I've been hitting a very low point in my life lately. And it's been hard to deal with certain things. Friends and loved ones have suggested that I try to talk to someone. But finding a therapist is hard and often expensive. And a lot of the times they don't really understand the specifics of what you're dealing with. Especially when you deal with dyspraxia and some of the emotional things that it can do to you. The fact that it's so not well known makes it a lot more difficult. Because even a lot of doctors don't even know what it is. So it's easy for people to give you certain advice and to tell you certain things. But when you suffer from the kind of things that I suffer from, just the regular advice that works for a lot of neurotypical people isn't necessarily going to work for people like me and people like other dyspraxics. And I'm sure if you're a dyspraxic and you're watching this video, you probably understand what I'm talking about. And I'll probably go over that some more in a future video as well. Now, a lot of people will probably say that I'm only trying to seek attention. And I admit that what I'm doing is partly to receive attention. But what's wrong with that? If I can connect with an audience, not to say I'll even attract an audience with my videos, who enjoys the things I have to say and can even relate and identify with it, it's a positive thing, right? And I'm not here to paint myself as some sort of hero or some sort of perfect human being. I'm not perfect. I'm the first person to tell you that. I have a lot of flaws and I don't shy away from them because that's not who I am. And maybe, hopefully in the long run, it can help me work through some of these issues. If you want to stick around and see that, be my guest and keep watching. If not, well, we can always watch some YouTube poops together. A couple of things about me to introduce myself. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm 24 years old. I live in Texas in an apartment with my brother. I currently work at Walmart. Pretty soon I'm going to be changing positions. I was working in the back doing sort of online pickup orders, going around the store picking out items for people or dispensing, taking them out to their car, which was something that I wasn't bad at, but it was something that I didn't really enjoy all that well. And I've done self-checkout before, so I figured it's actually a much more suited position for me. It's funny because despite how socially awkward I am, I'm actually really good with customers, and it's actually one of the only jobs that I've ever really done well. Because it's so easy, and all it takes is a little bit of social skills, which I can fake. I have a twin sister, and I also have 3 older brothers, 2 of which are also twins. I've been writing my whole life, basically, particularly with screenwriting and poetry / writing lyrics. I've basically wanted to be a screenwriter and write scripts for films since I was a kid, and when I was a teenager I wrote quite a bit. It's something that I think I'm good at. I'm good at creating characters, I'm good at creating dialogue, and you know, I'm gonna try and do some more writing in the future with that. I've also written tons and tons of lyrics and songs. I would say probably, I'm not totally sure, but maybe about probably over 1,000 songs, and that's not really an exaggeration. Just over the years, you know, I've been doing it since I was 13. I'm 24 now, and a lot of songs aren't very good in the beginning, and a lot of the songs have been lost. Some songs I don't even remember writing, so I would say it's probably somewhere in the thousands of songs that I've written. There are times where I'll write multiple songs a day. It's just lyrics, so it's easy for me to do. I've written quite a few songs with some musicians, them kind of putting the music to my lyrics. I've written several screenplays, I've written a few pilots. Just in the past couple of months I've written maybe like 2 pilots, I think. One for a sitcom, one for a drama. It's something that I'm very passionate about. If I could pursue it as a career, it would be great. I'm also working on an autobiographical novel called Bad Portraits, which is sort of about my experience doing theater in this town I used to live in, and sort of the relationships that I've made with people at that time. It seems really boring, but it's actually more interesting than it sounds. There's a lot of kind of twists and turns that are all real stuff that happened, and which is why I'm writing a book about it. I don't know if I'll address these things in future videos. I know that I plan to talk about personal things, but I'm not totally sure if I'll talk about the things in that novel. I don't know if it's ever going to be published. I just kind of started writing it to sort of deal with the kind of things that I was dealing with at the time, and it just became this sort of like experiment to write sort of a book, and I think it turned out quite well. It'd be cool if something happened with it. I may talk about some of the events from that book in future videos, but if on the off chance that it ever does get published, I would probably take those videos down. Like I said, I do theater, and I've had a lot of experience with acting and doing plays and such, although it has been a while since I did a show. The last show I did, actually, I was the stage manager in it, and it was a kids show. And I made a lot of friends from that show, mainly with a bunch of kids. It's kind of funny, because they're like some of the best friends I have now, which is kind of sad. But, you know, I mean, they're great kids anyway. In fact, I'm going to be telling a lot of stories from different aspects of theater, because there's a lot to that. I've had sort of a rich history with that sort of thing. I've never done anything professional where I've gotten paid for it. It would be great if I could. That's another one of the dreams that I have. I mean, it's like my ultimate dream is to be an actor. And I mean, I love to act. I don't necessarily think I'm very good at it, but I work very hard at it, and I put a lot of effort into creating a character. In fact, doing this right now is very weird for me, because I'm doing this sort of as myself, and it's actually more natural for me to try and pretend to be somebody else than it is to be myself. But hey, you know, that's sort of the territory. Maybe I'll get used to it. Hey! I recently got out of a relationship, which has been kind of difficult. Things were going quite well while we were together, but I guess she sort of changed her mind, and she just out of the blue decided to break up with me. And recently too, I lost my best friend. We had a huge falling out after I realized that she had been using me. I've lost a lot of best friends, and so I've been dealing with that, kind of dealing with a lot of just painful memories that have made it very difficult lately made me quite depressed, which is one reason I'm doing this. Of course, actually watching these back over and editing them and seeing myself as I speak here to you right now, that's going to make me even more depressed. But hopefully talking about these things will help me in the long run. I also want to hear from you. I also want to hear from you! If you have things you'd like for me to talk about in future videos, or you even want to contact me directly and talk about your experiences, maybe you have dyspraxia yourself and you want to discuss your struggles with it. I would love to meet more dyspraxics. I really haven't met a whole lot. So I would love to hear from you, and I would love for us to talk about these things. Daniel Radcliffe, I'm talking to you. And if you want, you can also suggest topics for me to do videos about. You can suggest things for me to react to. I'd love to do some reaction videos. If you want to do any of those things, or you sort of just want to contact me, then please send an email right there. Right there. Right there. That's the email. I would ask that you try not to send hurtful messages, but I realize that trolls will be trolls, and you know, it might happen, and I'm a grown adult, so I can deal with it. But if you do send sort of hurtful kind of messages or whatever, you'd have to say something pretty substantial or entertaining for me to actually respond to it. If you do want to contact me and want to talk openly about dyspraxia so we can help spread awareness together, then by all means, please send me an email or comment below. And perhaps sometimes in the future we could actually talk about it. Together we can just make people more aware of this condition so that people don't have to live in isolation and don't have to live just alone dealing with these things. That's really all I can say for now, guys. I'll be posting content pretty regularly, I hope. Please like and subscribe. I hope that you find some enjoyment out of these videos, and so with that, I bid you good night. I suck at waving.